So here we have Rata. We are at the Maths Jam in Geraldine.
Yep.
And Rata is the brains trust behind this. And I've asked Rata to give us a bit of an intro into what we're doing here and her involvement.
Sure. So I originally started Maths Jam in 2017. I'd just finished study and I started driving trams as my job. So I wasn't doing all that much maths in my free time, even though that was my interest. And I heard about, over in the UK, there's a group called Maths Jam. And the idea behind Maths Jam is there's cities all around the world. Once a month they get together in a pub, people are interested in maths, and do maths, talk about maths. So I got in touch with the UK organiser over there that coordinates the Maths Jams in the UK, and I said, that sounds really cool. We don't have one in Christchurch. Can I start one here in Christchurch, New Zealand? And they said sure, and they gave me a Maths Jam email address and put me on the list. So they share a puzzle sheet of A4 sheet of puzzles each month for the sort of the starting point for Maths Jam, and people just go from there, whatever they like. But I wasn't finished yet, so I got some people together in the pub, and we got a few more people coming along, and eventually I thought, well, why don't we have a gathering? Because I'd heard in the UK they do a gathering as well. So once every year they get all the different Maths Jams around the UK together to have a weekend-long event, and well, I thought, well, why don't we have one in Oceania? And I got in touch with, by that time, another Maths Jam had started in Timaru, and there was one in Auckland as well. So I got in touch with the organisers from Timaru and Auckland, and I said, I'd like to run a gathering. There's 3 of us here. What do you think? Can we pull this off? And Mark from Timaru, he said he was very keen to help out, so we got together and we had Oceania Maths Jam gathering in 2019. So we had I think it was just Mark who came up from Timaru, but we had a few of our regulars from Christchurch and a few others as well from around New Zealand, including a few people from Dunedin, where there wasn't even a Maths Jam, so that was good. And by the end of Oceania Maths Jam 2019, Maths Jam had started in Dunedin. So we're spreading the message.
Awesome. And this is the second one this year?
So this is the second one. Obviously last year with the pandemic we couldn't really do anything, but we wanted to do it again and get a few more people along. So we got talking about the end of 2020 and started pulling this event together. So we chose Geraldine partly because it's known for Barker's jams and preserves, and given we're called Maths Jam, well, I thought it was only appropriate. It was just another opportunity for a pun. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope that tells the story.
What are we trying to do here?
I have no idea. I need to ask Ross about this. It's purely an illusion.
It's a puzzle of some sort.
It's not a puzzle, it's just an illusion. And
so
it creates the illusion of a cascade all the way from the top to the bottom. There we go. But even though, as you can see, they're all interlinked, so there's not a cascade of a ring down, but it creates the illusion of one.
Why are you the co-organiser of...
Look at all these people. Everybody here, look, these people, they've been having a conversation for an hour and a half about things I've got no idea. Yeah. This lovely woman here, Elizabeth, spent 10 minutes this morning talking about knot theory, and I'm now fascinated and going to go away and look up more about it, because it was quite fascinating.
It was, wasn't it?
And we've even let an Australian come.
I know.
So,
I know, who would that be?
I got no idea, but...
We've got James here furiously colouring in. Can you explain what we're doing here, James?
No, I'm not sure, to be honest. This is one of the competitions, in the competition.
Could you explain the competition?
It's various attendees have created their own competition, and mathematically orientated. Then there's a prize for the best competition.
So each competition is a competition in itself, but it's also in the competition.
Yeah,
it's pretty clever, isn't it?
That's right. And so this is someone's. I'm just trying to work it out. There's a grid here. You asked various 10 different questions, and then you get a numerical answer, base 10. Then you've got to convert that into base 3 to fill in this grid, padding it out with leading zeros. Then it turns into a colour by number.
The
Bake-off.
mathematical bake-off. We've got over here, it's a rhubarb pie, or as it's called, pie
Rhubarb pie.
It's a square pie, so there you go. We've got the mutilated chessboard problem, and there are some details there. It is a problem which is quite fun to play with, and there's little licorice tiles. You can actually do the problem on the mutilated chessboard. They do say don't play with your food. This might be an exception. Then we've got Buffon's carrot and celery stick, so that's a very healthy option if you don't want to eat too much cake. You can read a little bit about Buffon's needle problem underneath. Then we've got the hairy ball theorem, which is a terrible name. Then we've got mathematical knots. So these are actually examples of knots from knot theory. You'll be able to recognise different ones. That's by Elizabeth. They look amazing. They look like a very nice cheesy option as well. And then lastly we've got the banana cake by Gillian. So lots of options to choose from, lots to eat for afternoon tea.
I'm from the era of paper maps. So back in the day, you used to deploy a map by going like this. And anybody who's from my era will realise that deploying it is one thing, and you'll realise there's quite a complicated sequence of movements there, but undeploying it can be really, really, really tricky. But this is the Muriori way of, I hope this works, of deploying a map. And undeploying a map.
Here's what I made earlier.
Yeah, here's what I made earlier. I made all these earlier, so deploying, undeploying. Doesn't quite work, but you get the idea.
You do something and you get something marvellous. But of course, you can do all that, but it's still the unknot. Yeah, that's just kind of shh. But it was interesting when they did that there was I think there was 10.162 and 10.163 that they discovered that actually they were both the same. So then they had to shuffle all the ones that came after that. They had to shuffle them all down because, you know, they found that two of them were the same from this computer program.
Oh no.
Yeah. You've got to have the stress of the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes me back.
740.
I bet you've already.
You do realise that the aim of this game is to get as close to the as possible. You might, if there's one prize left, you can have it for getting the furthest away.
I've got minus 900, so I don't think he should have.
He's got 70,000 though. That's yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Take it back. I used 100 twice.
So you've only actually got 7,000. 700.
Yeah, so my
700
now wins.
That's just like mediocre. Right, show answers.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. But you
105.
copied off this. You presciently copied off the thing that wasn't yet up on the screen. Nicely done. Very good.
So what we have here is a perfect magic cube. It is 512 numbers, and they're all rearranged so that every line, file, column and diagonal adds up to 2052. So you can go down through any line, across any line, you can go this way through it, and also corner to corner.
Right, anyway, welcome back to day 2. Snippet.
No, beta,
So Jessica, can I ask what you like about puzzles?
So the easy way to get home
For the record?
is to actually walk up the canal, not
What do I like about puzzles?
twice as
They're
long
puzzling.
Why are you here?
Because we were there over a
like
period of
I'm around to the
trying
big
puzzles
questions.
and failing.
But you're a maths major, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like trying challenging problems. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you win, it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
If you lose, you're like, no, I don't know how to do it. And then it bugs you until you solve it. Sometimes I can't sleep because it's a puzzle in my
Is that
mind.
right?
Having 10 fingers is literally 340 million years old. Which is... And also we have, some animals have lost a lot of those digits. Bird counting is... shown. So there are drawbacks. So, there are things you can do with these which are very interesting and very silly and completely useless.
So next time you can give us a talk about your life, using the system daily.
Oh yeah, no, I've got a daughter now, so I'm going to raise her with it.
Most numbers will be quite awkward.
Yeah, I mean.
By the time you've read it, the bus is gone.
I mean, that's my home address. Like the number of my house is pretty easy, right?
25.
So I assume it should be easy for everyone else as well.
Our system takes the century, which has the number 6. 2019, you divide by 12, 1/12, remainder 7, number of 4s in the remainder, this is for the leap years again, only 1. March is 3, the 3rd month, and the 4th of March is 4. So just add all those figures up. 22? 22. Then I would calculate that to be a Monday, because Carol would have had Monday as 1, whereas in the ancient world it was different nowadays.
I'd like to talk to you about some thoughts I had December last year and January this year. There was some colleagues of mine from one of the American continents were very interested in the way that one would count votes. And apparently this is very interesting to certain individuals. So I sort of thought, well, let's think about this from a kind of mathematical perspective. And so here's the part where I propose that instead of having the electoral colleges engineered, where people can do things like gerrymandering and that kind of thing, I want them to be randomly selected. And I also want there to be lots and lots of layers, as many as possible. So much so that this, you might think 3 is kind of a representative small number, but I don't actually want that. I want an actual groups of 3. I want us to start with the entire pool of voting, all the voters, which I guess n has to be a power of 3, so that can be 3 to the n. And then we iteratively, randomly group them into groups of 3 and have them, three-way majority vote to see what that group represents, and then just repeat that process again and again and again until we get the candidates. So that could look something like this.
So the next part is the breakout session, and then we'll do tables next. So tables is sharing an activity that people have brought along. You can either do board games. I've brought some crochet hooks if people want to learn how to make that hyperbolic flame sort of thing. And then after that we'll be doing the competition judging. So if you haven't got your entries in the competition yet, do make sure you set aside some time to look at those.
Is this an ongoing extension of your research?
It is.
We are testing hypothesis.
Ah, right.
We are
To
trying
see
to
if the
figure out.
distribution is
So these
similar.
are mystery M&Ms. They're not actually marked where they're from.
Oh, so they could be from Australia or China.
They could be from Australia or China. So what we're going to try to figure out is where they're from.
Yes, very good. Okay. Cool.
There we go.
One entry per person, so that disqualifies Mark for entering both pi and tau.
I was waiting for it.
If you'd just gone with Tao, you would have won.
I thought that, but
Richard and Sarah both wrote 7. Good job. You're out. I'd like to know who the clown is that entered Andre. It was not me.
Limerick competition. I judge this on the basis of tightest to the limerick form, which has to have a certain syllabic rhythm. and there were some quite cool limericks, but most of them distorted the rhythm fairly substantially, except for this one, which is Elizabeth. So Elizabeth has one with a mathematician called Potts saw things as a pattern of dots, but his daughter just loves continuous curves tied into mathematical knots. Nailed the select rhythm, and you have won half a packet of Macintoshes. You couldn't have a whole packet of Macintoshes because that would be over $2.50, which was the limit for the prize. Half.
I did the unfashionably stupid competition with the people with various names and pets and foods and various things. They all got part A correct, so that's great. And only one completed part B, and that was Josie, and she got it correct, so that's Josie by a clear margin. And I'm really glad because the secret is now I created this for the computer program. I knew there was a unique solution, but I ran out of time to check that you could solve it with pen and paper. And Josie has done that with losing colours, so that's great.
And she didn't even show up till Sunday morning.
So again, half the pack.
I had the guess the non M&M sweets in the jar. We were talking about could you fudge it by putting something big and bulky in the middle. So I've got 8 rather large marshmallows. You say rather large, they're like the size of your fist in the middle, so it was perhaps a bit misleading. But from chatting with Cliff, we realised that like, if you ask people to guess a number, although people will be way off, they will kind of average down towards an accurate number, and they seem to trend somewhere around 800. And that possibly would be true if it was full of regular sweets. But the actual number was 456. And that puts Andre, with his guess of 700, the closest. For your prize, you get French knitting kits. So you can make some mathematical knots.
I believe Andre must be pretty good at guessing sweets because he's also got the correct, he's got the closest for the number of M&Ms in the jar. There are actually 1,183 M&Ms in the jar, and everyone got more than 200 away from that answer, so no one got.
I mean, I did have 7 stats.
Andre, there was no rule against multiple entries, just no multiple entries on the same sheet of paper. So, Andre also worked out the greatest of the rules. But Andre's, 2 of Andre's guesses are the 2 closest entries. You win 3 gift packs of 16 M&Ms, so that's 48 M&Ms together.
Right.
Are you ready for a cosine,
I think it's going.
tan and sine on the piano accordion?
Time.